this is Manin Rabu from Bataan. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatupula. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Benaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic hit music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, Fiji Sevens team maintains lead on series standings. State of natural disaster ends tomorrow. And FRA focuses on long-term solutions for our roads. The Vodafone Fiji Sevens side needs to win one more tournament or play in both cup finals to seal their third World Series title this year. But if the team doesn't achieve this, they'll have to hope South Africa does not reach the finals for the remaining legs. Vashnil Prasad with this report.
It's a slow, deliberate march.
Having an 8-point lead over arch rivals on the Sevens World Series standings has set the platform for the Vodafone Fiji Sevens side. Coach Ben Ryan knew too well what it meant for the team to reach the Singapore Sevens final.
Look at last year. We won the world title last year. I think we with 2 tournaments to go, we're about 8 points off South Africa. We're now 8 points ahead of South Africa with 2 tournaments to go. We win Paris, this title's probably ours, you know.
Our national team pushed out Australia and South Africa before meeting the silent giants of the tournament in the cup final. The Kenyans appeared to be on the money, getting in their first try.
Let's please give credit to Kenya. They had the game of their lives in that final and they got momentum, and once you get a try and got some momentum and more momentum and more momentum, it was a bit of a tidal wave. I could see their confidence rising.
The African Lions were then unstoppable and scored 4 tries to take a 20-0 lead at halftime. Fiji, who was the only team playing all single match in this Asian leg, had little gas left, with Jerry Tuwai scoring the try. The power-pack Kenyan team outclassed the Fijian forward in the ruck and once again took the control of the second half, scoring 2 more tries.
They had a game plan that they executed absolutely brilliantly in 2 very important areas. Their kick-off, they crowded the area. We didn't react and put a pod there, and they got a really good foothold on the game. And then their counter-ruck, they're sending 200-kilogram plus Kenyans into every breakdown hard.
Kenya thumped Fiji 37. The players celebrated in style as this was their first World Series triumph in 17 years. Vashnil Prasad, FBC News.
Fiji's second phase of state of natural disaster will come to an end tomorrow. The National Disaster Management Office says from midnight tomorrow, Fiji will move into early recovery, rehabilitation and transition. Akusita Thale has the details.
It's been 60 days since the country has been under the state of natural disaster. The National Disaster Management Office says the government will pick up from where the New Zealand and Australian Defence Forces left to continue rehabilitating the lives of those that were affected.
Government is really appreciative and very thankful for the assistance that has been provided. They were there during the transition. They were there to fill the gap when we need them. And since the declaration has now been coming towards the conclusion, that also is a signal for them through their government for the wrapping up of the operation.
Tuifangalele adds the RFMF have positioned themselves in Vanombalabo and Koro to ensure that the assistance continue. He says they will now focus on their first phase of rehabilitation initiated by the government a fortnight ago.
First phase of rehab for damage and for damaged houses, the dwellings that will be provided by government. The other initiative that will come in is the rehabilitation, the long-term rehabilitation that will cover for the country beyond the 6 months that we are going through.
Tuifangalele says assessment reports are still coming in from the ground, which include reports from the divisional commissioners. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
More than average rainfall experienced during Tropical Cyclone Winston and Zina has had a negative impact on roads throughout the country. The Fiji Roads Authority says this time around they are focusing on long-term solutions as opposed to ordinary repair and maintenance works. Ellen Stolz has more.
These roads in flood-prone areas have suffered a lot of damage. The Fiji Roads Authority are considering alternative options to make it resilient.
Building up of roads of up to probably more than a metre in stretches of close to half a kilometre to get roads engineered above the current floodplains. So it's a clear challenge. It needs more information to get the facts on the table.
Aram Gose says that they are aware of the situation in the Western and Northern Division, but that a lot of work needs to be undertaken to be able to formulate an effective plan.
There's the outlet drains that go right to the rivers that need to be fully surveyed, understood, and then some funding put in to seriously address the outlet drainage that goes through private property in many cases. So our roadside drainage is only a part of the situation.
The FRA is engaging with the relevant authorities and stakeholders to come up with a plan to build better infrastructure for all Fijians. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
Fijian peacekeepers in Sinai who are part of the multinational force and observers are safe despite reports of escalating violence in the Middle East. Republic of Fiji Military Forces Commander Rear Admiral Viliamina Poto confirms Fijian soldiers had to be pulled out from their monitoring zone. It's understood 2 Fijian positions have been pulled out due to growing tensions between Egypt and Israel, which has resulted in direct fire on a daily basis. Recent reports claim that a peace agreement between Egypt and Israel may have been breached. The MFO is currently stationed on the border between the 2 countries to monitor the peace agreement. There are 330 Fijian troops serving in the MFO in Sinai. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama will leave for New York tomorrow to officially sign the Paris Agreement adopted at the COP21 last year. Fiji became the first country in the world to formally approve the UN climate deal agreed by 195 nations in Paris last December. The Parliament had unanimously agreed to ratify the Paris Agreement in February. In order to formally take effect, the Paris Agreement needs at least 55 countries, representing at least 55% of the world's climate emissions, to ratify the treaty. If the agreement is passed, Fiji will join other developing nations in benefiting from an annual funding of over $205 billion that will be shared among developing nations. Still to come on FBC News, FMPF processes overseas applications for Tropical Cyclone Winston assistance. An Australian Army enjoy Fijian hospitality. Stay with us.
Kolvina, gua ko saulog, bibini tavua. Total taina wale no porronga na Bula FM no mando na se.
Bula na rango ulemila o ngo ngai nandi ando talitak na porronga na Bula FM number 2 na seri.
Bula rango ko pene lo toka do talitak na porronga na Bula FM number 2 na seri.
Ni Bula na rango o ana waite webata ena kasi ando porronga na Bula FM number 2 en seri.
Bula FM number 2 en seri.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Over 300 Fiji National Provident Fund members living overseas have applied for Tropical Cyclone Winston assistance. The fund will be verifying and processing the applications this week. Savara Tambor reports.
Majority of these applications have been made by military personnel currently serving in peacekeeping missions. FNPF Chief Operating Officer Chao Chikoroi says the applications will be verified via Skype if the need arises, as they aim to make payments by the end of this week.
At this stage, most validations have been done and the processing and payments are currently underway. Payments will be made directly to their local bank accounts or payments to the checks, whichever options they have taken.
The fund aims to finish processing all pending applications by the end of this month. Koroi says payments are processed faster if applicants provide correct signatures, names and other information.
Most members have submitted without proper information, wrong information, like signatures are wrong. Even some are submitted without signatures, even some without wrong names. So we have to work through the system to make sure that they are validated, corrected, before we process further.
More than 176,000 applications were received under the Tropical Cyclone Winston assistance. The fund has to date paid out over $132 million. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Fulton Hogan Highways is restoring access to the Naivudini Irish crossing in Naitasiri, which was washed away during Tropical Cyclone Zina last week. Fulton Hogan Depot Supervisor Joe Ngere says the crossing is a critical link for farmers residing in villages within Monasavu and Wailor through to Naivudini, and it's also the connection to the Monasavu Dam. Ngere says much of the gravel on the Wailor side of the crossing was swept away by the strong currents. With an increase in reported cases of violence against women and children, the Fiji Police Force has established a special unit to deal with them. The officers have been undergoing training to improve their service delivery. Sainiani Mboila reports.
The police force has recorded a 13% increase in reported cases of violence against women in the first quarter of this year.
This year we registered in all police stations 951 cases that deals with domestic violence. Last year in the first quarter we recorded at about 842. So there's a slight increase on reports that have been received along the domestic violence offences.
Officers dealing with violence cases has been criticized lately for their slow response. ACP Rusiati Tunrabu says they now have a separate unit that deals with such cases.
Some of the units that we have established within the force based on the needs on the ground. And one of that is our sexual offense unit, which is one of the units that have been established just to cater for sexual offences.
ACP Tunrabu says under their Dovata community policy, they have partnered with various stakeholders to create awareness on domestic violence. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Fijians are famous for their smiles, friendliness and hospitality, which did not disappear even after the havoc wreaked by Tropical Cyclone Winston. The Australian Defence Force officers experienced this firsthand while carrying out rehabilitation works around the country. Some officers shared their stories with our reporter Ali Kimbia.
These Australian Army personnel have been carrying out rehabilitation works here in Rakiraki for almost a month now and are relishing every moment spent with the locals.
I've mainly noticed the children don't change all over the world, so as soon as you rock up in a place, the children have big smiles on their face and running up to you, and they're always very welcoming. Same for the rest of the locals. Whenever they see you, they wave at you. Just very happy to see you in general.
Many of these families had almost nothing left after the Category 5 cyclone struck. But what captivated the Australians was the generosity shown by the Fijians.
Yeah, so we can't believe how excited the locals still were. They were ecstatic that we were there. They loved working with us. They loved having us there. Every day they'd put on morning teas and cakes and coffees and stuff for us. And it was a real friendly environment. After work, we'd get around the fire and talk to them and play touch footy with the kids and stuff. So it was a real good experience.
For Lance Corporal Vadi, he will return with a lot of memories and stories to tell his families and friends.
Even the locals, it's everyone's so nice to us here, and yeah, it's just incredible how nice everyone is. So yeah, I'll definitely take that away.
The first group of Australian Defence Force officers are expected to return home this week. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Fiji Red Cross Society has assisted over 10,000 families who were affected by Tropical Cyclone Winston 2 months ago. Director General Felipe Nainoda says their fundraising continues and donations are still pouring in from local and overseas agencies. He says they are still reaching out to communities and the emergency response will continue for a month.
This will help us actually seek out and complete our emergency response to those we may have missed during our period of engagement for emergency.
The non-government organization has also assisted 13,000 households who were affected by the natural disaster. We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up, Ryan confirms the availability of players for next leg.
And tickets go on sale for Super Rugby match in Fiji. This and more after the break.
I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Salah, I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Mulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan is impressed with the performance of our national team at the Asian leg. Vashnil Prasad reports the coach has already made plans for the last leg of the Sevens World Series.
It was the first loss in a final match for the Fiji Sevens team under coach Ben Ryan's leadership. For the past 3 years, Fiji has reached 9 finals, winning all of them.
We lost out in the first half, but we're pretty happy where we are right now on top of the series table. We always said that we left Fiji #1 and we want to go back to Fiji as in the #1 position, and now we've stretched our lead.
With Olympics now in mind, Ryan has mapped out the plans for the side. Samisoni Viriviri is the only confirmed overseas player to be part of the training camp for the last leg and the Olympic Games.
Viriviri, he's been released from now till the Olympics, so we'll have him for 3 months. The plan was Tuisova will be available for Paris selection, so will Weiss Naisalevu for selection. Leonie Nakarawa will be available for Paris selection.
It will not be an easy ride for the overseas players, as the locals have displayed an impressive performance this season.
I've got to think very hard about, I want to win a World Series. I don't want to suddenly put 5 guys that have never trained with us this year into the team, but I do have to open the door for them, so we're going to have a measured approach about that.
Surely this man, our national team and their record will go down the history line if they win a gold medal at the Olympic Games in Brazil this year. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
And the Fiji Sevens team has extended its lead on the Sevens World Series points table. After finishing as runner-up in Singapore, Fiji claimed 19 points and maintains its first position with 147 points, followed by South Africa with 139 points, while New Zealand is in 3rd spot. Singapore Sevens champions Kenya is in 7th place with 85 points. Meanwhile, Fiji has been drawn in a fairly even pool for the Paris Sevens next month. Fiji will face Samoa, Scotland and Wales in Pool B. Kenya leads Pool A alongside New Zealand, Portugal and Russia. In the pool of death, South Africa will be up against Australia, England and Brazil. Argentina takes charge of Pool D with hosts France, USA and Canada. The Paris Sevens will be played from May 13th to the 15th. The TFL Fijianas won the bowl title at the Langford Sevens in Canada, defeating Brazil 24-7 in the bowl final. Talida Vondo scored twice in the win, while Miriam Manaam Basali and Merawai Dhumu also scored a try each.
More one-handed passes as this game gets going. Through the gap Fiji go. Vondo, I don't think she could quite believe her luck. She stopped almost and said, "Is that gap for me? Thank you very much." March, it does so. Massive overlap here. Hands will do it all day long. Tavo Chunaya Basali. And Fiji are going to touch down, almost getting over the dead ball line there. Nangasau to run, get that ball on the outside. Lovely pass, weighted pass to Vondo. She goes into the corner for her second. Well, if they go right here, it should be an easy run in. It might be, and it is. Kumu is going to score. Well, they just took it quickly, and Brazil were asleep at the wheel. Try given.
The Ilesa Tanivula coach side earlier defeated Japan 33-10 in the bowl semi-final. Fiji Bitter will be part of the Mara Sevens tournament once again this year. Celebrating the 40th year of the tournament, the sponsors handed in a check of $50,000 for the competition.
We started this tournament, and now this tournament has grown to be one of the most sought after tournament.
The Fiji Bitter Mara Sevens will be played on Friday and Saturday.
On behalf of the 350 volunteers, the actual prize money this year has gone up to $42,000. That money will be used well amongst all teams.
Tickets for the inaugural Super Rugby match in Fiji between the Crusaders and Chiefs went on sale today. Fans can purchase tickets for the grass embankment for $15. Concrete embankment ticket prices are $20, while grandstand tickets range from $120 to $160. While some tickets have been reserved for the two franchises' fans from New Zealand, local fans have been advised not to wait to the last minute to purchase tickets.
Of course, the tickets went on sale today at lunchtime, 12 noon today, and we, for the first time ever in the history of sports in Fiji, we had people lining up to buy tickets for an event that is 3 months away. So for the game that's scheduled on the 1st of July, I'm happy to say that tickets have started.
Tickets can be bought from the Fiji Sports Council office in Suva and is also available online. The Crusaders take on the Chiefs at 7:35 p.m. at Suva's NZ Stadium on the 1st of July. 16-year-old Eileen Vikamatana is destined to reach greater heights in the field of weightlifting. This is the view of weightlifting guru Paul Koffa, who has witnessed the Levuka natives' progress in New Caledonia this year. Talindada Kadaka has more.
Paul Koffa, regarded as one of the top weightlifting coaches in the world, is eyeing Eileen Vikamatana to make ripples in the sport in the not-too-distant future.
Supported by Chow, Levuka, the full system and weightlifting here, she will be the greatest athlete you've ever had. She's unbelievable. You know, you're talking about Olympic level. I'm not talking. She can win at 18 gold medal in weightlifting at the Commonwealth Games. And at these championships here, when everybody finishes, she starts. That's how good she is.
Vikamatana, a gold medalist at last year's Commonwealth Youth Games, is lifting 20 tons a day in training as she builds up for the Oceania Championship in Suva next month, which is also a qualifying event for Rio Olympics.
Well, there's nothing more I can expect from Eileen, and that is for her to do her best, and it'll be a surprise even for myself to see her be lifting the weights that Mr. Koffa is saying that she's lifting now. Yeah.
Vikamatana is among the 24-member squad that will represent the country at the Oceania meet here at the Vodafone Arena on May 24th to the 28th.
Meanwhile, Koffa today handed over a $2,500 check on behalf of the Australian Weightlifting Federation to assist in the rebuilding of Weightlifting Fiji's training facility in Bamba Levuka, which sustained damage during Cyclone Winston. Talendo Takavaka, FBC Sports.
In the English Premier League today, a 10-man Leicester City football team held West Ham United to a 2-2 draw. In another match today, Liverpool beat Bournemouth 2-1. That is your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Tapu Group of companies gave 2 utility vehicles to the National Disaster Management Office to help with relief response to the cyclone-affected areas. The 2 vehicles are Scorpion twin cabs, 4x4 pickups, ideally suited for relief works by Dismac. Tapu Group of Companies Executive Chair Mahendra Tapu says during their interaction with Dismac, the need for more vehicles was apparent.
We understand how critical mobility is in such situations, and we hope this assistance will help Dismac with its relief and rehabilitation work.
Minister for National Disaster Management Ini Seruratu received the keys on behalf of Dismac and the Fiji government. Showers affected the central and eastern divisions today. Fine weather prevailed elsewhere. Nadi and Lautoka today were the hottest at 33 degrees. Bar was on 32, Lombasa 31 and Suva on 30 degrees. Savasava was the coolest on 29. Tomorrow's forecast is for strong southerly winds with average speeds of 55 kilometers per hour and gusts of up to 85 kilometers over Lao. Winds gradually easing. Elsewhere, moderate to fresh southeast winds, moderate to rough seas. Cloudy periods with some showers over the Lao and Lomaiviti group, the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. And the further outlook is fine apart from brief showers. Recapping the main stories for tonight, the Vodafone Fiji 7 side needs to win one more tournament or play in both cup finals to seal their 3rd World Series title this year. Fiji's 2nd phase of state of natural disaster will come to an end tomorrow. And Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama will leave for New York tomorrow to officially sign the Paris Agreement. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. On to the results from last week's poll question, and we asked, are there too many fake online boutiques in operation? 89% said yes. And this week we are asking, should Kitione Talinga be included in the sevens team for the Olympics? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Good night.
मैं हूँ रेहान खान गुरबो तालेबू के जैसे फेस्टिवल ए ग्रेड है गुरबो में उसी तरह मिर्ची FM नंबर 1 है गुरबो में
एलिन लटका में मिर्ची FM को लॉक कर दिया जाए मिर्ची FM इट्स हॉट
हम नकाशी से साइमान है हमारा फेस्टिवल जैसे नंबर 1 है वैसे मिर्ची FM नंबर 1 है
माय नेम इज दिनेश हम नैंडी में काम करता है स्लीपिंग जायंट जिपलाइन में और मिर्ची FM इज हॉट आई लाइक इट
मिर्ची FM इट्स हॉट